Hi, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I have a very special guest with me here today, Alex Masmej, who is a entrepreneur as well as the founder of Rocket. Alex, you also recently tokenized yourself, which folks are very interested to learn about. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Tony. Happy to be here.
Alex, before we get into Rocket and you tokenizing yourself, maybe folks, you can give folks a bit of information about your background. What did you do before crypto? How did you learn about crypto? And in starting Rocket as well.
Sure. So before crypto, I was just out of my bachelor's degree. I founded a startup around 3D printing. Didn't go too well. That was in the UK. Then that was during a year, pretty much. And then the other year, I basically explored different technologies like AI, AR, VR, and crypto. I created like a fellowship of young people so that I could meet people. So it was really like exploration phase. And I found crypto to be the best industry to enter as a young person starting their career because it's the lowest barriers of entry. You don't need loads of funding. You don't need lots of data like AI. And so I found it a very opportunistic field to enter that can have a great impact on society. So yeah, so exploring, starting a startup, not succeeding. And so from these lessons, I learned about crypto around mid 2017. Before the bull market, and I was really intrigued by Bitcoin, but I felt like I couldn't really influence the field much, so I was just trying to invest. And then I dived deeper into Ethereum, and I always had this entrepreneur startup background, and the I entered the field with Meta Cartel, pretty much like going full time. And Meta Cartel is basically investing in Ethereum small projects like when they just win a hackathon or like a small
Hmm.
competition, we fund them. And so that gave me a huge launch pad in my crypto career because I met countless founders and entrepreneurs just like me on their path. And I learned a lot of the intersection between like crypto, Ethereum, and startups. So yeah, I guess that's my background. And that's how I discovered crypto.
Got it. So, how did that lead to starting Rocket? And if you can tell us about Rocket, what's the services it provides? What is it about?
Sure. So yeah, after seeing so many founders starting Ethereum applications, pretty much, I wanted to do my own. Naturally, that was always the goal. And so the way it started is I was looking at MakerDAO and especially MakerVolt, which is generating DAI out of ETH,
Hmm.
and that's pretty much a sort of loan. But since it's over collateralized, you put more money in than you receive, which I felt defeated the purpose of loans. And so there was no DeFi loans, pretty much. You cannot do loans in crypto that are pretty much unsecured with like less capital. And so I started this community with a very complicated name called Under Collateralized DeFi. And I learned a ton of things from a lot of people about trusting people online, like the ID problem, like people can run away if they are randomers or unknown, the reputation problem, everything. And so I did like a pretty much like a questionnaire just to know how could people, what can people do in terms of alternative loans that are still secure, yet where they put less money in than they get out. And so people, I heard a lot about them holding NFTs, so digital items, and that was the start of Rocket. I was like, well, let me do a kind of decentralized pawn shop, which
Hmm.
means that people can just lend their NFT and we would give them money and liquidate if defaulting, like if they don't repay the loan, so that we have some guarantee. And sure, like NFT cost money, that's
Hmm.
why we take them as collateral, but we want to we feel like it's still extracting value out of nowhere because that NFT was bought, but they want to keep it as there's some kind of emotional value. So we still think it's a little bit better than just putting more money in than out. So that was yeah, Rocket. So Rocket simply is giving you a loan against your collectibles, against your digital items.
Got it. So, NFT, just to confirm, stands for non fungible tokens.
Yes.
Got it. Got it. Very interesting. So, if someone wanted to you leverage Rocket's DeFi loan, what's the process? Where would they go to, and what do they have to do?
So the process of Rocket is you go to our Twitter page, and there's basically a type form where you softly submit, like not committing to anything on chain, nothing like this. You just say, this is the collateral I'm willing to putting some of the name, background, some kind of loose information, because we can give loans to anyone, but if you have a strong reputation, it's easier, because reputation is one of the factor we weigh in when we decide whether to loan or not to you. So yeah, giving your collateral the value you think it is, and then we'll get back to you. And if it's a collateral type that we like, if we think the loan to value ratio is okay, meaning that, yeah, if you have a collateral worth $1,000, perhaps we'll be comfortable giving you a loan of $500. And then, so that's the first step, which is just filling up a form. Then we get back to you and we negotiate, the main negotiation element being interest rate. So we decide the interest rate, the loan to value ratio, and the exact contract. The third step is then we kind of immortalize the deal by making a NFT itself, which symbolizes the contract. So I mint, or the person mint the NFT and sends to the other. So we have like a immortal contract on chain, kind of like an escrow, kind of like an email, pretty much. Email is decentralized. You can send an email, and email are legally liable. This is just the crypto way of doing it. It's kind of fun. So like we are fixed on terms. And then, yeah, the loan starts, and we announce it on Twitter and etc. And yeah, that's basically how it works.
Got it. Makes sense. So let's go into how did you tokenize yourself? Or I should start with what made you decide to tokenize yourself?
So what made me decide to tokenize myself? I had like so I'm not sure if your audience is familiar with DeFi, but managing assets, online trading assets, and basically I did like a slippage mistake on a DeFi platform that made me lose like a quite heavy percentage of my net worth. And I felt really down, but not just this, but also COVID-19 appeared. I was making less income, and I was coming from the startup world, and ISA, income sharing agreement, was always something that popped up recently in my feed and that I was discussing with friends, because it's a new way to get money up front or education up front that you then repay with a percentage of your salary. So both actors are incentivized to help you, because the more money you make later, the more money they make later as well. And I was in this kind of unique position because the people who did ISA never wanted to really interact with crypto. And the people in crypto didn't really understand that world. And so I felt like, with the income stream being lower than before, so I was making less money, I was like, let me just try to do an ISA. And yeah, then I was booked for main stage at a big Paris conference. And I was like, well, that's the perfect way to gauge the public and the enthusiasm around it. And yeah, I announced, I announced it. And at the time, I had no clue about the details, the parameters, or anything. I just wanted to throw it out there, seeing the response. And the response was quite well. Then COVID-19 hit a bit harder, and I kind of delayed by a week or two. And a month after, which was now, I think, 10 days ago, I do a Medium article, I drop it saying, hey, fill this Google form, and you would get that tokenization. For the $20,000, you would get promotional amount of token, and I will give some percentage of my income. And yeah, it filled up way quicker than I thought. In 5 days, it was oversubscribed. I even had to refuse money from people. And that's how it started. Yeah.
So in a nutshell, people are buying the tokens, betting on you that your income and your success is going to increase, and they're going to get a cut of that income by holding the tokens.
Yes. That's not the only part. There's also a utility part. I can advise them around crypto. I can help them market their product. I can share on Twitter, for instance, to my followers. There's other things, but yeah, that's the main part for that precise sale.
Got it. So to your point, you'll also add benefits of like you'll consult them and help market some of the things, talk with them, and that type of thing. Interesting. I love the concept because we're headed more to the token economy and folks starting to tokenize themselves. I've been following an NBA player, Spencer Dinwiddie, who's tokenizing his contract. So it's interesting to see someone like you tokenize yourself personally. It's just such a mind blowing concept. So as far as the process of doing that, let's say I want to tokenize myself, or someone who's watching this video wants to tokenize themselves. What did you do? I believe it's on Ethereum, right? The Alex token is on the Ethereum blockchain. What process?
Yeah.
What services did you use?
Yeah, so personally, I used a service called Roll. Tryroll.com makes the token for you. They even they own 12% of you, but they have skin in the game, which means it's not really a tax. They also put liquidity so that the exchanges is more liquid. So Roll is an example, and they favor people with a community. So they considered that I'm in crypto since 9 months. My followers have been pretty heavily growing in the community. I'm more and more known because I'm a quite marketing / public facing person. And so they thought I was a good fit for them. But Roll is not the only way. There are simpler ways. So at the core, it's just a ERC20 token, which is basically a cryptocurrency that you create of you. So the minimum viable product, I would say, is simply deploy this on Ethereum and then put liquidity on Uniswap at the price that you want. If you want to make that process easier, there's a website that just got released last week called Me Tokens, stakeonme.com, which simplifies the process. They literally do ERC20 minting for you, and even with a bonding curve, so that the more people buy it, the higher the price will go up into some sort of curve that you can design. And so that means that you don't even have to care about putting liquidity or anything. It automatically prices itself. So that's a great website. So I would say these are the two biggest one. And just in a nutshell, it's simply you create your own token that is tradable. That's one. And two, you put it on some sort of trading website. Uniswap being the easiest because Uniswap is open to anyone to join and create their own token on.
Very interesting. So I have two critical questions I need to ask you around that. I know you're in Paris, and here in the United States, there are securities laws. Did you run into any securities laws there, or did you have to go to any type of regulatory application, that type of thing?
Right. So yeah, that's a recurring question. There are a lot of concerns around this because I'm basically pioneering this because unlike Spencer Dwindley, the ISA part is not the only thing on my token. And I would say it's more akin to crowdfunding, meaning that there was a utility around it since day one. I was on Roll since last year, by the way. This sale was just like, I can do anything with my token. It's my life. And so I decided to do this 20K sale and so to reward those people. But the people also came from my network for marketing and other things. Another factor is that it's a very tiny amount. It's $20,000.
Sure.
The amount of participants is very small, 30 people. So I believe, yeah, it has some elements of security. My marketing was not flashy. I put many disclaimers that I can run away with the money, do your own research. I'm an entrepreneur, but entrepreneurship is very risky. So sure, I decided not to go for it because I think it is a middle ground that we will see in the next few years for clarity. But I got lucky enough to get in touch with the most famous crypto legal person in the space, most notable people, and they all told me, yes, if we go on a very strict path, it technically has some elements of security, but it's a very small amount. You are experimenting. The people trust you, and if you repay back and you do what you say you will do, it should be okay. So I would say personal tokens are not to be taken very seriously because we don't really know anything about valuation. Right now, my valuation is like $200,000 because this was 10% of my tokens, really. But the amount is skyrocketing on on Uniswap and exchanges. So it's all things that are very new. And so that's why I didn't want to put too much legal effort on something that's so much uh, nascent, really.
Sure. So my next question is, how would folks verify your income? Let's say you make $1 million next year. How would they know this is Alex's income and what cut we're getting? Are you giving your tax returns, making that public?
Well, so I have the 30 emails of the people, and I guess I will communicate with them. I said that I will distribute my income quarterly. So that means that people, I will disclose transparently to them. I'm not sure I will do that publicly, but I will definitely tell those people because these are the people concerned, right? These are the
Got it.
people getting the money. Um, Tax return and stuff. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe I'll see. I'll see when the time comes. The first airdrop is technically I think in August, next quarter. So yeah.
Got it. Got it. Some interesting pieces there, but I'm happy to hear you're pioneering it and that you're kind of the first to kind of do this. And I know there's still some things to learn about it, but it's such an interesting concept. I think will be really big because if you think about it, some of the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, if you could invest in a guy like Elon Musk or something like that, I would, right? So it's a very interesting concept.
Yeah, it's really awesome to invest in people. If it's not me, I guess someone who will tokenize themselves in the next few years will just yield enormous returns, and that will be incredible. And yeah, also it's also great. I guess there's almost like a philanthropic initiative in this. It's like you're betting on me early on. Um, I know extremely talented friends that got into very awesome environment for them where basically wealthy people would say anything that you do I'm willing to back you like $100,000.
Hmm.
There's the deal fellowship, there's others, and not everyone has that opportunity, and some people could really benefit from it if you're extremely smart and you're 19. uh, Maybe normal life in a normal environment will give you normal studies and or working for a job because you can't sustain yourself. But if early on in life you have such a drastic help, we could exploit potential of just amazing individuals that couldn't be exploited. I mean, not exploited, but couldn't be leveraged that much. And so I think this would be really interesting to see in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be a new form of raising funds. So to your point, like crowdfunding, instead of trying to go find venture capitalists or whatever to back your business or whatever may be, another avenue would be tokenize yourself and raise funds that way. You're working on your business and your project, and the returns get shared with the token holders. So I think that certainly can be something big in the future. So my next question, and I'll preface this by saying not financial or investment advice, but what do you hold in your crypto portfolio?
So what do I hold in my crypto portfolio? I own some Bitcoin on Revolut.
Mm-hmm.
So Revolut is custodial, meaning like, yeah, sure, it's not completely decentralized, but I found it easy to hold some Bitcoin. And I've been holding Bitcoin pretty much since the past month. I was fully Ethereum for almost a year. But with the crisis, I felt like it was where Bitcoin value proposition was most attractive.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a very tiny exposure to Bitcoin, and then almost all the assets I have are held in Ethereum. I don't have anything else. Well, of course, I have Alex tokens. Uh, I hold Ethereum, and to hedge against downside and to leverage basically volatility, I hold my Ethereum in token sets, which is a transparent bot trading that basically sells when it's low enough and buys when it's high enough, and just rebalances from time to time with the moving average. So I'm a very bad trader, so I leave that trading to that robot, and that's how my $20,000 actually. No one asked me that question yet, but that's where they are held in a transparent trading bot, and it's great so far because if ETH crashes, it just rebalances to USDC, and the opposite, it just gains the exposure. So that's how I hold most of my income, and yeah, like probably 95% of my net worth is in ETH right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm certainly bullish on Ethereum as well. So pretty cool. Final question here. Certainly, we're in a pandemic across the globe. We have to get back to normal life. But where do you see the crypto market in 2 to 3 years?
I think it will be enormous. I think this is the right time for crypto. The past economic collapse, like 2008 or the 2000 bubble or 1929, after that, they all spurred a lot of technological innovations. And I think, especially as the economy really is being hurt by this, crypto can rebuild a better, more transparent, faster, global, cheaper fees trading financial products. And so I'm super, super bullish on this. Actually, my next startup, which is part of the reason why people have been invested in my token, Alex, is a savings account company because
Hmm.
I believe crypto can do really awesome savings account products that are 10 times better or more than current savings account. And so, yeah, I'm super bullish in the space. Yeah, completely super bullish. Like, I think the role of it will be amazing. First, with DeFi. So, first, I
Hmm.
guess the financial aspects, then maybe the governance aspect, because since you can put any value with blockchain online, you can also put equity in a company, not just equity of a person, but when you do equity of a company, that means that you can run your hierarchy slash governance slash inside company politics with software. So that would be really cool. It's like you get promoted because you did X and Y and stuff. And so for large companies, that could make the whole managing way more efficient. So that would be the second wave. And then the third wave for me would maybe be the collectible, so NFT,
Yeah.
um, meaning, yeah, something that you truly own, like an event ticket, for instance, or many other things like video games that can interrupt. Like if you could get your Fortnite skin into your League of Legends skin
Hmm.
by the same brand, then it's a new revenue path for both gamers, for both sponsors and advertisers. And so this will be the third revolution. So I would say, yeah, NFT, DAO, and DeFi, which is money, governance, and this is kind of like my thesis of the blockchain space in the next few years. Yeah.
Awesome, Alex. Really insightful information, and excited to really learn about what you've been doing with tokenizing yourself, and would love to have you back on as things progress. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, Johnny. That's been a pleasure.